Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce,
Adam Scott,
and Patrick Kay.
You can contact us on email at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. Right, so the nominations for the BAFTA Awards, the Gaming BAFTAs, which will take place on the 12th of March at the Resd event in Tobacco Dock, which me and Patrick will be attending. I don't know if we're special enough to actually get into the BAFTAs though, so anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go through all the BAFTAs, we simply don't have time to go through it all, but suffice it to say that I think we were fairly on the money with our Game of the Years, weren't we? Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation's got loads of nominations.
What's Destiny doing in there? The internet says that's shit.
It's like the worst shit. It's like the best crap game or the crappiest best game. Apparently,
Was
a lot
that
of people.
actually a category?
I don't think so.
Crappiest game.
All I've heard about Destiny is that it's got that compulsion loop that's in World of Warcraft, and everyone acknowledges that it's crap, but they can't stop playing it.
So it's
they
just
don't
crap.
even hate.
You're just saying it's crack.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and they don't even hate themselves for falling for it.
It's crack that tugs you off. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, Banner Saga's up for several awards. Good to see. I think, did I see Elite Dangerous?
Glad that Alien Isolation won the audio.
Imagine that.
Like, yeah. Do you think like that was the best audio in a game ever?
What was so?
Alien Isolation.
Oh, I
Is
haven't
Elite Dangerous
experienced it
not
yet.
up for anything at all?
No, it's not. I think it might have missed the boat in terms of not coming out in time,
Although
maybe.
Titanfall has been nominated for Game Innovation.
Okay.
Because
so
no one's done sniper robots before.
Are these awards run by the industry like all the other fucking awards, or is it run? Are these have people voted for these, or have journalist robots voted for these?
Well,
It's like the.
so-
I think it's like the Academy, isn't it? It's
Okay.
BAFTA
So it's
members.
not real people. It's just the media patting itself on the back.
It's not just it's not media necessarily. It's people in the industry
Okay.
have awarded these. So yeah, it's like the Oscars, I believe. But I think there is like a judging panel. So I think a lot of people get these games that are nominated and have to play through them all very quickly.
We're all a
and then
judging
come
panel,
to
my friend.
Well, anyway, I just thought it's quite good. Like all these lists of awards, it's kind of cool to like just look at what came out this year and what is good. There's a lot of good stuff here, obviously.
Yeah.
Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is up for a fair few. Vanishing of Ethan Carter is up for best original property. That's a new one, I think.
Okay, so I've got my top 5 for each category. Everybody else got theirs?
I haven't gone through it in that much detail. But
I have to admit, this is the first time I've even looked at the list.
Yeah, me too. I'm only
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
it's all right. No, I mean, I haven't looked at it all. I was just like, oh, BAFTAs, that's probably big, and I might get to go to it. And Pat,
It's
maybe,
kind of
if he
interesting to
wants.
see what gets nominated, but I kind of agree with Ian. It does seem a bit like industry backslapping. I'm not a massive fan of awards normally, unless they're voted for by the people that actually consume the product. So there you go.
Well. Okay, moving swiftly on then. Bethesda are going to do their own press conference at E3 this year. Invites went out to those higher up in this
They're
field.
unveiling a VR HMD of their own.
Oh, God.
Just
not
play
another one.
Skyrim in a continuous 24/7 loop.
Made with the scales of dragons.
Well, I think the money is on... there's going to be something Fallout shaped
It's got to be Fallout.
being announced.
Got to be.
Yeah, and also Dishonored, sequel to Dishonored, and the next Doom.
Some new IP would be good, because I took a chance with Dishonored and that worked really well. So
I'll do another one then.
Yeah, they don't have to sequelise it so soon. Although I will buy the sequel, of course.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
To be fair, I will as well. But yeah, you're right.
I think a lot of the people who left Irrational when that all downsized have gone to Arcane, who make Dishonored. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that Bioshockiness rub off. Not that it was a million miles away before anyway, but I like Dishonored. Bit of a weird ending to that game, but
I really enjoyed Dishonored. Although when I got to the last section, I think after the big, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. After the big, dare I say it, betrayal. I kind of lost interest. I was kind of,
honestly, it kind of went out like a bit of a wet fart, really, at the end, to be quite honest. It was like, I don't know, it was just a strange arrangement. That's funny, because my wet farts hang around for ages.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a lot of people moan with those sort of games when they just insert boss encounters, but for me, this was kind of the opposite, and it's I guess they were like, well, we won't do a boss, but it was just like, you got to the end of the level and that was it, and it was like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Great gameplay. I really enjoyed all the different abilities and stuff.
I've had the DLC just sat. I got it in a Steam sale, and I was thinking, because you get to play as like the one of the antagonists in the DLC, and I played the original very stealthily, and apparently this game responds to how you approach it, and if you go a bit more violent with it, like, you get more stuff thrown at you. And a lot of the upgrades you got were very much balanced towards that. So I didn't really get any of the gadgets, a lot of them I didn't bother with because I was trying not to kill people. And so I was going to approach the DLC a different way. So I thought that might be a cool thing to do. Anyway, so that's going on. Another thing that's rumoured to be happening at E3 is a new Guitar Hero. I don't know if we need that.
I thought that ran into licensing hell and was dead as a dodo, that Guitar Hero thing.
It just ran into milking itself dry, I think, was the problem with it.
Guitar Hero Carpenter's Edition.
If it just featured guitarists that are making a name for themselves on YouTube, that would be excellent. There's some amazing guitarists on YouTube doing some really cool shit.
Yeah.
And if it just featured them, that would be awesome.
Yeah, there's no money to be made out of that.
Just play guitar and make videos on YouTube.
Yeah, that would work as well. But that requires the application of time. Alternatively, you can just whack your fingers against a plastic thing that isn't your mum's dildo and just make some noise out of that.
I don't know. I mean, I play guitar, and I still think there's some fun to be had from Guitar Hero in a party sort of situation.
I do not understand that. I do not understand that at all. Like, for years, people have been saying, you're a guitarist and you like games. Why don't you play Guitar Hero? It's like, because I do the real
do you play in a heavy metal band?
Why would I want to play? Like, why would you want to do that? I literally don't understand it.
I found it very difficult.
I just couldn't do it.
That's because I've only ever played it when I was utterly wankered.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not terrible at computer games. I'm not terrible at guitar, but I wasn't particularly good at that game, which makes me think it's not really a particularly good emulation of playing guitar.
Scott Iain from Anthrax was terrible at it, and he was sober, so I don't feel quite so bad.
No, what you were saying there, Pat, is like, I never bought Guitar Hero myself, but I got it as a leaving gift when I left my old job.
Right.
And I think they kind of made that assumption for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I ended up with it. But
everyone's
it was
I don't understand why you don't play it. I'm like,
but
look, that's a real one.
But it was the Metallica one, and so it was kind of cool to play like through all those Metallica songs with.
Okay, well at least they didn't get your Dell one.
You could just put the music on and play along with most of them. It's not like they were Mozart.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, but you don't get points for that.
Points and unlocks.
You got points for that when you got points for that when you first did that, I think.
You would have got points from your peers, my friend.
Yeah, you get.
It's slightly
definitely get Street Pro points.
It's slightly easier to make that stuff sound good on Guitar Hero
than
it is to
wasn't.
actually play it.
No,
all right.
Me, mate.
Well, anyway, that's that.
But anyway,
okay.
Okay.
Talking about Guitar Hero, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
moving swiftly on, just a couple of press things. Sorry, groan, etc. But Eurogamer has ditched review scores.
Hurrah!
I thought this was kind of significant. It's unfortunate that Metacritic are still making the executive decision that no score equals a 6, etc. But
what's Metacritic?
It's an evil aggregation tool that
Which is
companies use to
completely
bonus their
irrelevant in
employees.
2015 as far as I'm concerned.
But no, I mean, I thought it was interesting. Like, I think the review of Evolve went up, and that had nothing. It just said, "This is this game," blah. So it had no recommended or essential on it, but it also didn't have a void on it. So that, to me, I don't know. I'm still just gonna maybe think twice about any game that doesn't carry a recommendation on it. I'm not saying Eurogamer is the be all authority on what I should play, but I don't know. I still think it is still like having review scores. Just because it's not a number doesn't mean that it's not, classifying games that way. I still see a 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind.
I kind of see the advantage of the change that they've made, because review scores often feel a little arbitrary, whereas someone's saying, yeah, it's all right if you like this kind of thing. It makes a lot more sense to me than someone saying it's a 7. So I think yeah, it's a good direction to go, but you've got to decide for yourself. I mean, to be honest, I tend to look at what people have said about a game rather than what's in the box at the end. The box at the end is for people who don't want to read TLDR, the review.
That's very admirable. It's not like things. I don't want to read it. I don't have fucking time to read it. That's the problem.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, you do. You just choose not to. That's
yeah.
I listen to the quality control on Polygon. But
do you never shit?
That's a podcast.
Friend? Could you not read it when you're dropping the kids off?
I'm playing XCOM then.
Well, ask a stupid question.
Anyway, so also, as far as press coverage goes, I also thought it was interesting. Kotaku have announced that they're shifting their focus to post-release coverage, which I thought was so refreshing because so much of the press is sort of orientated around this sort of relentless release cycle and what's next, what's new, and so many games are like being like piled up behind them. And there's so many awesome stories to be told. And the way that games are being made now, they're like never finished, or sometimes early access, and sometimes because they're just fucked, on release. And I think it's cool to have that attitude when no one else is doing it. I'm not a big reader of Kotaku, but I might read them a bit more if they're going to have they're actually going to cover games in a meaningful way. Because I mean, I'm still playing games from the end of 2014 at the moment. Like,
oh my god, mate!
God.
You're so last year, Jesus.
Yeah, well, it's certainly more relevant for me. I've got an embargo on buying any new games this year. So, but then again, I don't read Kotaku anyway, and I'm unlikely to start now. So when I say it's more relevant to me, it's kind of an abstract thing.
Are you also playing XCOM on the shitter?
No, I'm not playing it. I don't have it on a mobile handheld device.
Oh, okay.
I really ought to. I've been playing Triple Town instead.
It's a fine game.
It is a fine game, and I finally broke 600,000 points on Triple Town.
Oh, you're chasing my tail, mate. You're chasing my tail. I can't remember what I've actually got. I can't remember what my actual high score is on that. It's pretty epic, though.
I wonder how many bananas I'm going to have to stuff myself with so I can stay on the shitter long enough to get to 1 million points.
All right.
Okay, PlanetSide 2 creative director leaves amongst layoffs and reorganisations at what used to be Sony Online Entertainment and is now, This Morning Games or something? Daybreak, that's it.
Yeah, I could just see Susanna Reid.
I wish I could.
Sorry, what were you talking about?
She's got to be vanity. She's got to be vanity with the latex.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just in my head. So
it's in most of my dreams.
So creative director Matthew Higbee announced he's stepping away from both the game and the studio. Is this something to worry about? That the fact that they're laying off lots of people?
I don't know. Do you play the game?
I don't know.
Probably nothing to worry about then.
Not for me. No. I just wondered if you
I think Rob was asking for the benefit of those listeners that may play the game.
I played it a few weeks ago. Still good fun. There's been some things that people whine about beyond the things that people normally whine about. But H1Z1, which is also by the same company / team, that's been getting some reasonable reviews after the shitstorm cleared after the early access started. So
there was some ridiculous things about this because they were. Wasn't it this Daybreak is acquired? They were acquired or started by some venture capitalists with a fair amount of ties to Russia or something like that, and there was some Polish guy on the forums that was basically saying, "It's you're funding the Russian mafia, and how dare we spend any money on this game now that Russia owns PlanetSide?" And for fuck's sake! So
don't spend any money on it then.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's right. That's right. I think about a week or so after the deal went through, the daily sales came out, which quite often then have a number of items at 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And the items were about not 50% off; they were more like 35% off. And there were posts everywhere saying,
"That's the Russians
saying, that's it. This is it. It's going to start screwing us over. It's all about the money. We don't get our 50% off on session cash sales anymore."
We should have known, really. Crimea yesterday, PlanetSide today.
It's one big conspiracy.
It's rubbish.
I
think it's good that people rotate and don't stay with the game for a long time.
Yeah.
DayZ is, that's doing well, just doing fine without Rocket. So I think it's good for somebody else to step up and do the work.
Cool. I don't know. I just sort of wondered if they were like sort of not winding things down, but that they were kind of tightening up the operation to the point where it was going to become a bit of a more soulless service, and not kind of have the love that it once did. If a lot of the original developers were stepping away, perhaps, but I guess we'll just have to see.
I think there's an argument that says that there comes a point when original developers have been maintaining a game for 4 years, something like that, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I can't remember how long old it is. Are a little bit weary of doing so, and then they need to get onto pastures new. So having some fresh blood in might be just the thing that PlanetSide 2 needs. I haven't played it for a long time, but it's not because I didn't like the game at all. I fucking loved it when I was playing it, but there's just so many hours in the day, and I've got other things to do. I'd love to dip back into it for a while because it is the kind of game that surprisingly you can dip back into. You don't have to keep on top of it because to keep your fucking raid score up or whatever the bullshit you have to do in the raids. You can just go in, start shooting people in the face, or more likely get shot in the face by other people, and then step away.
Revive everyone. That's the easiest way to do it.
That's what I do. Yeah. That's what I get most of my credits from. Yeah. I'm a total support player. It's much easier than having to work hard.
Cool. Well, that was just really a follow-up from the news we had the other week, really, that it was about Sony Online Entertainment. So, Just Cause 3 won't have multiplayer out of the box as it does like in the patched-up version of Just Cause 2.
No, it's not patched up. It's a mod. It's a standalone mod.
Well, it's a mod, I mean. Yeah. So it's going to have some asynchronous stuff like leaderboards and that, but as far as actual multiplayer goes, they're not looking at that, and I think they're relying again on the modders to put that in there. So I just thought I'd clarify that because there was some speculation last time.
Okay. Well, if it's the same team that did the Just Cause 2 multiplayer mod, I look forward once again to playing on a 1,200 player server.
If you're going to put that batshit multiplayer in, take your time when it's done.
Yeah, it was just unbelievably mad.
Yeah. And another thing we're going to have to wait for still is fucking Grand Theft Auto 5. It's been delayed again to April 14th. So, I mean, again, they put out some more screenshots just to say, look, we're working on it and it's going to be awesome. But
one of the reasons it's entirely possible that these games have been delayed because later on today Valve are going to say Half-Life 3's out next week.
Just check
That's-
That could be a reason.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not out yet.
So, do you think Valve shares their plans with other developers then?
I don't think they do officially. Who knows? I'm just, if it's delayed, I personally was rather it was delayed and came out much better than it was delayed and came out like Assassin's Creed Unity.
There's no way Rockstar want to be tarred with that same brush that Ubisoft do, I think.
And they also don't want to do the same that they allegedly did with GTA 4, where the PC port was a pile of shit. I really enjoyed it, but most fans of the series would say they did a shit job with the PC port of 4. So maybe they want to get it right for 5. Maybe they're going to release a VR headset, Rockstar headset, that's got stars on either side and shit.
I doubt it. They'll wait for the one to win and then
into
do
a
it.
hooker. Who knows? But
Yeah.
there will be
Well-
good business or soft development reasons why this is happening. Let's give them a break. It will still be a great game when it comes out.
It will be, and I'm kind of pleased in a way because it means I can now play Pillars of Eternity or something that was coming out the same week that I'd already bought because I kickstarted it. So I'll actually be able to give that some time
Perhaps they
instead.
listened to the podcast and thought, that young Mr. Howard, he's got too much on his plate.
Yeah, he wants to play
let's wait
Pillows of
until April."
Eternity.
Yeah, Pillows of Eternity, yeah. Oh well, at least we'll get to play that as opposed to a couple of things, a couple of cancellations. Shadow Realms, the BioWare multiplayer game, they were we reported that they were going to retool it for consoles. Now they've just shelved it, not doing it. So
Did they shelved it or just cancelled it outright?
they've just cancelled it.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Yeah.
My enthusiasm shelved it the second I saw it, to be honest.
Well,
No.
I don't know. They proved that they can make good IP. Dragon Age, Mass Effect. I had every, confidence that they would create something,
But this
worthwhile.
is
here.
another one of those asymmetrical multiplayer games, much like Evolve.
Yeah.
And perhaps they just saw
That's
the
the
way
thing.
Evolve was going and
When-
thought, oh, maybe not.
We forgot
I don't
to put
know.
on
When
DLC
when I
engine.
first saw Dragon Age, I was just like, yeah, brilliant. I'm immediately sold. When I saw this, I was like, I've seen that game before.
Yeah.
Yawn.
It did.
But I don't care.
It looked. I mean, I was quite. I've got a lot of love for BioWare, as anyone that's heard me talk before will know. But it looked like it was going to be kind of fun. But I don't know. It didn't. It wasn't exactly. Left 4 Dead levels of multiplayer madness or
No.
or anything of that nature. And there were bits of it that reminded me a bit of the Secret World. There was a very Secret World.
Yeah.
Thing behind the thing, which, actually, I love the idea behind the Secret World. I just don't think it was implemented to my satisfaction as much as I think the plan was there, but the implementation wasn't. And maybe they just kind of went, look, I think it shows a lot of balls to go and to get into a project and go, this isn't working out the way we want to work it out, let's ditch it. Rather
It's the
than
right thing
drag
to
it
do.
out. It's exactly the right thing to do. I wish more people would do it. So it's all a lot of fucking time.
In every fucking industry, Jesus.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Well, I guess they'll be making DLC for Dragon Age instead.
But they're
now.
well. The thing is that they say they're repurposing their resources to do more Star Wars Old Republic stuff, aren't they? Riding the zeitgeist of Episode 7 and pushing more content out.
Ah, interesting.
I guess they were like, we've already got one flagging multiplayer proposition. Do we want another one? Although probably in the grand scheme of things, Star Wars is probably doing just fine.
I think Tor's doing
it's-
really well,
it's not
actually.
flagging.
It's flagging. In fact, it's probably doing much better than it was, shortly after release. I think it had a big spike at release. Everyone went, it's a bit rubbish and not finished, and
Well,
dropped
we
off.
certainly did.
I certainly
Yeah.
did, after following it for a year and getting really disappointed. But I think it's got a pretty solid following now, but I haven't been involved, so maybe I'm talking
I
out my...
replayed it over Christmas.
Gooch.
Not all of it, obviously. I resubbed. Not resubbed. I resubbed over Christmas.
I just played all 400 hours of
yeah,
it again.
and then that was done. It was okay. It was the same as before, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
But freer.
got a reliable audience, put it that way. So
Yeah.
I was kind of, but EA have obviously got all the license for the BioWare games. For the Star Wars franchise
Yeah.
in the gaming
Yeah.
in the gaming sphere, and I'll be absolutely hornswoggled if BioWare aren't doing some kind of RPG tie-in with the new series of films. So
Yeah.
I'll just wait for that, probably.
Yeah.
Very much.
Just not an MMO, please. Not another one.
Yeah, no.
I want a story I can actually give a shit about.
One of the stories that I certainly gave a shit about last year was Gone Home.
Not going to be playing it on a console anytime soon.
Best segue ever.
Next.
Anyway, yeah, so apparently they pulled the plug because they had a deal with a publisher called Majesco, who have, I think they're having difficulties, and so, yeah, it's all falling apart. So the next time you'll be able to see anything from Fulbright on a console will be their new game Tacoma, which is coming out in 2016. But, yeah, so if you want to play Gone Home, you need a PC.
Bad luck, guys. Isn't it on mobile?
PC or Go
Is
Home?
it on mobile? Gone Home?
Don't think so.
Don't think so. No. Also, so yeah, got a couple of release dates here. First one is for Assassin's Creed Rogue. It's coming out on PC on the 10th of March. But what's kind of remarkable about this is that it's going to have support for this thing called a Tobii IX controller, which will allow you to move the camera around with your eyeballs.
Which is awesome.
Oh, cool. Sounds great.
Definitely going to get that then.
I just find it kind of hilarious. That basically the version that comes with this tech though is like 150 quid. So
Well,
yeah,
that's worthwhile investment to get the most out of an Assassin's Creed game built for PS3s. Awesome. So how does it actually work, this bit of hardware? Is it like...
You press the cynicism button and it all works.
Well, that's good, because I've got a massive one right on my hip keyboard.
Okay, thanks.
So, what is it? Is it like a camera that, you know, into your eyeballs and follows your tracking movers, or do you have to like stick something on your eyeballs?
I hope it's a pair of
Right.
I hope it's a pair of mice
stick.
that sit above your eyes and just hold their paws on your eyeballs.
It's not wireless. You actually have to plug the wires into your eyes.
Yes.
it's like a little doobry, I think, that goes on the side of your monitor and just tracks your eyes.
That's right.
And so you look up, and the camera will scroll up. Apparently,
Wow.
like
Awesome.
so.
Yeah. I've seen lots of kind of similar tech, and that specific one being demoed in conferences and stuff. And yeah, it does look really, really cool, and it's kind of surprising how kind of well it works already from the demos I've seen. Anyway,
So it's like track IR, but you don't have to expend the energy moving your head.
no, it's just gaze controlled.
Gaze controlled.
Gaze controlled.
I think Sony were demoing something like that with
That's
Infamous
right, they were. That's right.
at E3 or something, GDC last year maybe.
So, Rob, you said like the version of this with this technology costs £100. Do you mean like you buy it with the hardware or something? What do you mean?
Yeah, there's basically a version of it available to pre-order, and you get the game. It's $200, which I think is £150. The UK version. I don't have the pre-order page in front of me right now, but it basically includes the game and the gadget for 150 quid. So if you're interested in that tech and Assassin's Creed...
So, sorry, hang on a sec. So you move your eyeballs, so you gaze away from the centre of the screen,
Yeah.
and your view in the screen changes.
Moves.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
by
so
looking away from the screen,
Yeah.
you can look away from your... Oh, for fuck's
you
sake.
can no longer see where you're looking.
It's like the Track IR, you know? It sort of moves...
Yeah, but with the
it
track
detects
IR,
that you're...
my eyeballs remain looking at the screen, so that the light emitting from the screen goes into my eyeballs, and I can see what's happening. The head movements.
But you have to turn your head whilst looking at the
I
screen.
have to move my head a little.
Like this.
I've got one for Elite Dangerous. I have to move my head a little bit. But the head movement is really not that severe, but my eyes are looking at the screen. I thought it was going to be really awkward, but it's not.
Sorry, did you say you've got Track
There's-
IR for Elite Dangerous?
Yes.
Or one of the other ones?
No, I've got track IR.
PC Master Race.
Excellent.
Well, I'm not going to be.
Yeah, like there's several different ways of like using this technology. Like I've seen a demo being run where they're using it to like aim at stuff. So you're controlling the character in third person, like in the traditional way,
Right.
and then he was aiming with his eyes. So he was looking at enemies around the screen and then firing at them and stuff.
So it's not like
there's
for
a few different ways you
looking
can use
behind
it.
you. It's like for looking in the window in the corner of the screen up there. So
Yeah.
like, you know,
It's like using a
Yeah.
mouse.
Yeah, with your
Okay.
eyes.
save
I'm
myself 150
really, really excited
quid.
about. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, this stuff is really, really exciting. But I'm kind of more interested in it being used for VR.
Yeah, okay.
That's where it's really going to be useful for like stuff like we've
In VR,
talked about
in
before.
VR, it makes more sense to me because obviously you're
Yeah.
enclosed
And your
rather
screens
than
are
like
a static screen
like-
that doesn't go anywhere. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, like focus dependent depth of field effects, for example. Like you wouldn't use depth of field in VR; it would be garbage because the thing that's meant to be out of focus is only sometimes out of focus, depending on where you're looking. But if you know exactly where the eyes are moving, you can make things go in and out of focus in that natural way, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, very exciting. I wouldn't buy it just to play Assassin's Creed with, maybe, but yeah.
It's a bit of an ask, isn't it? If there's not really any other games to support it, so. But yeah.
Yeah, but Ubisoft always put the game at first, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 5 is out on the 1st of September. That was announced today. I'm not especially bothered, but it's quite a big game, so I thought I'd mention it.
That's a universal symbol for tumbleweed, right?
Yeah. Not a lot of love for Metal Gear Solid here, then. No.
No.
I've never played it. I've always been put off by the legend of the 45-minute unskippable cutscene. So fuck that game as far as I'm concerned. My life's too important.
It's just the barmy hiding around in a cardboard box thing that puts me off. It's like, it's just
Yeah, well,
It
I
looks
play games to do things I
absolutely
don't do in real life,
gorgeous.
so.
Sorry.
It does look absolutely gorgeous, and it's interesting from like a kind of technology point of view. Like graphically, it does look absolutely
Yeah,
gorgeous.
but so do
I just found it so boring.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
boring.
Anyway.
I loved like Metal Gear Solid 2. That was just amazing the first time that I played that game in the kind of early days of the PS1. But yeah, I'm not really down with that new one.
I played a bit of the remastered version on Vita when I had one of those gadgets, and it was
Yeah.
all right. Still a bit balmy. I played the first one, but it's just one of those games that really hasn't aged very well. Like especially the first one. The 2 and 3 look good on the remasters, but I don't know. They're just old games, but whatever. New games though, some new game announcements. Starting off with We Happy Few, that looks absolutely barking.
Oh yeah, that looks wicked.
A lot of people are sort of comparing this a bit to like BioShock sort of style, but it looks a bit creepier than that in my opinion.
It's got like a kind of 1960s setting, but it's like an alternate history 1960s where everyone kind of it looks like everyone sort of takes these pills and stuff, and it's all about kind of conformity and acting normal, but you're obviously not doing that, and you then become kind of like the main character seems to be into some sort of altercation with these weird kind of brainwashed citizens in this weird kind of 1960s London thing.
Oh
But
yeah,
it looks
I'm just watching
really
the trailer
cool,
now.
doesn't
It
it?
looks proper creepy, but proper creepy,
Yeah.
like some drugged up Willy Wonka. Fucking
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the village they land in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the 1960s. It's really fucked up. Oh god, there's a guy fighting with a cricket bat. I'm sorry, I'm just watching this while we're talking. Watch the trailer.
Yeah,
it's really
video
good.
commentary is...
Oh, look at that! Oh, did he?
Oh,
what's that?
shiny.
Why are they wearing those? Okay, yeah, it looks
It's
good.
from the guys that made Contrast, which I think was one of the like games. It was available on PlayStation Plus when the PS4 launched. Didn't get loads of great reviews, but had interesting visuals and stuff. It kind of reminds me of what I was just thinking. Then, if No One Lives Forever had been made now, it would look kind of like that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. That's same sort of 1960s wacky beehive haircuts and stuff. Isn't it?
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to find out more. Details are fairly fine on the ground at the moment. But yeah. Next game that's coming out. This came out of the blue. There's a new D&D game coming out from the director and executive producer of Dragon Age Origins, and it uses the new 5th edition D&D rules. It's like a top-down, party-based D&D game with what looks like a full 3D engine. Looks like a proper old-school sort of Neverwinter Nights game, and
yay for nerds.
It just came out of nowhere, and I'm still sort of dubious because it's the company it's from, a kind of a new company, I think, and it's just sort of come out of nowhere and looks quite fully formed without any Kickstarter backing or anything like that. So
well, not everyone's putting money, you.
Well, I know. Yeah, I guess they've got a lot of finance here from Wizards of the Coast who are interested in.
Yeah, they've got a bit of money.
They want to pimp their new version of D&D.
Well, I'll certainly be looking at it as being a lifelong and card-carrying member of the Nerd Club and a big D&D fan. I'll more than happily look at that. Although if it comes out this year, I'm not playing it.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure exactly when.
Next year I can play it, yeah. But more likely 2016.
It might actually work by then as well.
Yeah, exactly. Wait for the patches.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Controversial.
Yeah. Okay, next game we've got is Sub-Level Zero, which is like a Descent-style VR thing coming to Steam.
Yeah, it looks wicked, doesn't that? Looks really cool. Did you guys play the original Descent?
I don't think I did.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was because it was proper 3D.
Flying about shit.
Yeah. It took me a while to get my head around all the changes of vector that you had to do. In that game. Yeah. It's like, which way is up? I don't get it. But once you got it,
they've gone for this kind of really cool sort of semi-low poly look where you've got like these kind of really pretty looking lights and shaders, and but lots of kind of low poly and sort of pixely type effects going on as well. It's really cool looking.
All the explosions, it's all cube, isn't it? All the explosions are like big cubes.
Yeah, it's quite unique. I haven't seen many things that look like that. That is kind of retro and futuristic at the same time, which is kind of
I can imagine you completely losing your bearings, like of what ways up and down in VR and stuff.
Yeah, that's why you need that cockpit in there. Definitely, you would get confused.
And you need a Horizon as well, which is something we'll have to talk about later.
Okay. Next game we've got is a first-person co-op Warhammer game called Vermintide, which sounds a lot like Left 4 Dead, but in Warhammer.
That's all right, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is definitely right.
Yeah,
you're like
fighting Skaven, which is nuts.
We played a bit of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay back in the day, and this is based on that world.
Indeed.
And this
is Skaven.
Yeah, man, this is the Skaven of the bad guys. And I think there's if I remember correctly, they haven't detailed any of the classes or anything, but there'll be a whole load of the sort of Warhammer type classes, which are always a bit more interesting than your standard fighter, rogue. There was all, it was like highwayman and witch hunter and
dandy,
assassin and dandy. Yeah, exactly.
And troll slayer,
Targeteer and Templar and troll slayer. Yes, of course. And giant slayers for those that survived the troll slaying. And I think it's a really lovely, rich environment. I don't think has rarely been given the justice. It's given a lot of love in the RTS genre to various successes, but I don't think there's been an awful lot of really successful multiplayer stuff. I mean, there was that MMO, the Warhammer, whatever it was, war game where there was the Chaos versus Order thing. I remember doing quite a lot of that. Well, I say quite a lot, a bit of that. But it didn't really capture the stuff that was fun about the universe. And I think maybe this might do it. I don't know. Or it might be like
because I remember.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. But I'm definitely watching it.
I'm pretty tempted.
Yeah,
on this
I would be. I think this might be a really, really good team game because I think the class dynamics will allow you to come up with some interesting strategies if implemented well, as always.
I remember there was a Warhammer MMO in development for years, wasn't there, that we were all kind of really hyped for, and then it just petered out. Nothing happened. WoW came out, and then the Warhammer game that came out was very Warcraft inspired. But I did quite enjoy that. I did get it, and I played it for a bit. Yeah. I enjoyed the fact that there was those ambient like group encounters that you could get involved in.
Yeah, it had all those.
And it had some cool little arena combat as well. I quite got into.
Yeah, skirmishes that you could queue for and just pop into, and they were just like 10, 15 minute kind of leveled, gated. I forget what you call it, but ranked matches, weren't they? So you were tended to put into level classes, so you weren't completely getting curb stomped by those people that may or may not have more time than you to play.
Yeah. So. Well, this is 5-player, which is cool. It's a bit of slightly more inclusive than Left 4 Dead, perhaps.
Yeah.
But getting 5 of us together is, who knows? I'm up for it. If everyone else gets involved, I will. Hopefully, it won't be like full price, because that just seems ridiculous for this sort of game.
But they'll no doubt be shitloads of DLC, which will spoil it for me forever.
Oh well, we'll see. Next game we've got is Megaton Rainfall. What's this then, Pat?
Have you seen this game?
I watched the trailer.
I'm not sure I want to now, Pat. Is it good or not good?
No, you want to watch this trailer, dude, if you haven't watched it yet. This is a superhero simulator.
Oh, is it?
It looks absolutely disgusting.
Okay, we're going round a planet. We're going round a planet.
I'm so hard from that. I'm going to take my jumper off.
Oh wow! So
and we're going into a square.
So that is,
they're massively playing with scale.
That is
like
proper
you can
orbit
leave
down
the planet. Yeah, and you can take off again. It's got entire cities, huge enemies, awesome, cool like effects, like laser eye attacks and stuff like that going on, and or he was like firing bolts out of his hands or something like that. Just leaving the actual solar system and stuff. It's just ridiculous how cool this game is. Just massive experiment with scale, essentially. Yeah, I don't know where this one came from, but I'm definitely getting this game.
Is this a crowdfunded game, or is it? They've got finance, I guess. They're just doing it themselves, or something.
I don't think it's crowdfunded. No, I think developer Pentadimensional Games.
Try saying that when you're drunk.
Yeah, they're an indie company. They haven't said what platforms it's coming out on yet or anything. It's but that VR is like a massive focus for them for pretty obvious reasons. Yeah, this looks amazing.
It does look awesome.
Wait to try this.
Yeah, it does. Very cool.
I wonder if there is the danger that I don't know. It does look amazing, but I'm thinking, you're so powerful. What's the challenge?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's flying outside of the fucking galaxy. It's
amazing, though. See, I would play it just for that experience, just the fact that you can fly from a city out of the solar system into another galaxy. I'd play.
Maybe the challenge is he has to fly through some rings, because that really worked for Superman on the N64, didn't it?
I think one of the ways in which they created challenge in those games was to base the health bar not on you but on the city and the people you're trying to save.
Yeah.
I think that's where the challenge element comes in, but I don't think that Superman game that I'm thinking of, I don't think it was very good. So
no, but that looks like, I haven't read any of where they are in development. That looks fairly early, that stuff that I was just in the trailer there. So but that's certainly hugely amount of potential. So
where's the link? Where can I give them my money?
I've tried to give them the money link and I can't find it.
See, that's where you need to be crowdfunded. Anyway, next game, the final game to be kind of announced is Trine 3, Artifacts of Power. I don't know, I've got both games in my Steam library. I have only played the first one for a tiny bit, and it's a lovely looking game. Looks to me on this game though, and I don't know if the last one was the same, but it looks like they're changing the angle a bit. There's a lot more.
This is new, yeah, that is new. There's bits where you're going forward rather than just sideways.
Yeah.
So that is new. I mean, it's always been like kind of cool the way they've presented 3D in those games. They are, they're easily some of the best looking 3D games. And if you do any stuff with like NVIDIA 3D, like this is one of the games you have to try because it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And I love these games. I love the atmosphere of them. Essentially, they feel like the kind of fairy tales that you kind of were reading or had read to you when you were growing up. And like these games are all about atmosphere. They've got cool kind of puzzle elements in as well, but they're all about that atmosphere, and they just really kind of just draw you into these like beautifully drawn worlds. I can't wait to play. Can't wait to play another Trine game.
I haven't played any of them, but I'm looking at that trailer, and the lighting is lovely. It's really lovely.
Just gorgeous looking games.
And they're all co-op, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
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 Really good co-op as well. You can just drop in at any point and stuff.
Is it? It's 3 characters.
Two, I think.
Is it 2 or?
Oh, is it? I thought they were only 2 on the previous 2, but I could be
there's
wrong.
3 characters, and one of you can play.
That's right.
Choose which one you want to play.
That's right.
You can always
between
flip between one and whoever the one that whoever isn't playing. Like
well, there's 3 characters on screen here though in this game. So
is there maybe
in
then?
this trailer there were 3
think...
characters running around. So
I think it was only 2 simultaneous in the last one, but I could be wrong.
One looks like a warrior. One looks like some kind of magic user, and there's another one that's got a bow.
Yep.
That's an interesting take on things.
Which one will press the cynicism button?
Looks lovely though. I'll give it a
So,
go.
yeah. There's been some interesting Telltale news. They've secured some finance from Lionsgate, who are known better for making movies and TV than games. And ex-EA CEO John Riccitiello is now on board the company, and they're working on a new original IP / TV crossover. So looks like Telltale are going even further in the direction of interactive narrative, which I find hugely interesting as a fan of their games and a fan of Lionsgate output, such as Mad Men and various other things. It's interesting because Telltale are a game that have traditionally only worked with existing IP. I think the closest they've come to something truly original is perhaps the Borderlands stuff, although again that's another IP, it's just
IP,
not one that's from another medium. So they're working on this concept that they're calling like a super show, and it's going to kind of marry a scripted TV series to a video game. So
okay,
I think they were posing something like this with that Quantum Break game for Xbox One, where it's going to like work as a TV show as well. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, and it'd be interesting to see what Telltale can do with their own IP and what that IP could be. And I guess it's all up in the air, really.
I've got a lot of time for anything Telltale do. And Lionsgate are consistently good in terms of their output as far as I'm concerned. The ex-EA CEO is a slight worry, but then again, he always is. But I guess hopefully the other 2 will try and keep his rampant money grabbing in order. And, see where we are.
Interesting to point out that Lionsgate have the Hunger Games and Saw and the Expendables.
Yes.
So
they've done a number of things, haven't they? That's the
most.
Well, it
Just
says it's a TV crossover, not a movie crossover. In that headline.
Well, I think the idea is that.
I read the article. Shit.
Well, I think the idea is that they're coming up with an original IP that will be a show and a game.
Oh, I get you.
So,
right, okay.
So in a similar way to the Walking Dead, although you could argue the Walking Dead game is more based on the comic than it is the show. There's still some like crossover there with characters and stuff. I think they'll probably work better if they're not too closely linked.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? We'll see. And final news story is Fable Legends will be free to play, which is kind of interesting.
Excellent.
It's got an interesting premise, this game, where one of you is like DM and the other 4 of you are like running around and fighting whatever the DM's throwing at you. So
I'll wait for the next Fable game, which apparently will be better.
Hey! Too soon, man.
I thought you were going to say something like you wanted a Fable game that will pay you to play it or something.
No.
But no, I mean, I'm not, whereas something like Evolve, I'm not going to touch with a barge pole because of how much money they want off me to play it. I might give this a stab.
You were going to play it, though, weren't you?
I was thinking about it, but the overwhelming negativity of everything that I heard about it overwhelmed me, and I didn't bother.
Are you drinking wine, Rob? Are you drinking wine? I've never seen you drink wine. Sorry.
I've really got into it lately.
I really love. I really love the first Fable game, and I really love the second one, and I even like the third one, which not many people liked.
I didn't like 3.
And nothing about what I loved about those games. I hadn't seen anything about this new Fable game which has any of the elements that I loved about the previous ones. It just looks like it's drawn in that world, and has like a similar kind of combat thing. It doesn't. Those games, they're sort of similar to Trine, really. I think a lot of that was about feel, and I always felt that the Fable games just felt great. They were like places. They drawn worlds that you wanted to be in, and that's always like a big thing for me. They were softer than a lot of kind of fantasy stuff. They were a little less dark. It wasn't about some. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't all kind of browns and greys and realism. It was soft, and it was fairy tale, and it's it's kind of like a warm aesthetic, and that's kind of still there, but it looks like that's all that's sort of captured from those original games, from what I've seen of the footage anyway, which is quite a bit so far. But I don't know. That's the Fable game I'm seeing here is not the thing that made me love the original Fable games.
Well, no, it's arguably it's kind of a spin on the MOBA with that IP assigned to it. That's kind of all it is, really. But I'm looking at it mechanically from a pure something fun to do with your mates perspective. There could be something there. Who knows? I don't know.
Got to play Warhammer.
We'll find out. We'll find out, and the thing is, you don't have to pay to find out. It's there. Have a go. I think they realise they've got a fairly hard sell on their hands with everything else in the market, and free to play is the way to go, as it is for a lot of games. So,
good luck to them.
Indeed. This has been the Not Playing Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk. You can get me on Twitter at Bobby Rocker, BOBIROKA.
I'm at EboGB, which is EBOWGB.
I'm at Patrick JKAY.
I'm on Twitter, but I never check it, so I'm not going to give you my address. If you want to send me abuse, send it to Pat or Iain.
Fair enough. Or you can reach him via us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes of this show at notlistening.co.uk. If you're listening on iTunes, please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!
Farewell. Bye.